Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of True Crime Time for Tuesday, September the 9th, 2025, and I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cyndi Overton.
Doing it again. Doing it. Right? Nice, cool weather outside this morning, and y'all got to hear WL yesterday because we had actually pre-recorded something by accident, and so thank him for coming on the show. Briefly, although it was, and hashtag Just for Bradley, hashtag Just for AO, continue calling you tips. Every time we drop an episode, it goes crazy. Bunch more tips. Y'all know who you are that are calling them in, and we appreciate it. Hashtag Just for Haley is coming. I'm going to talk to Miss Barbara this week if we don't hear anything back from them before Friday. And then, of course, hashtag Just for Miss Barbara Blunt. So, that being said, thank y'all for liking and listening and sharing and all the comments and everything else, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's get down to some true crime time for Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
Well, ladies first. What do you have?
We're going to Portland, Oregon.
What type of story? It's time. It's Family Matters.
So back in April of 2024 in Southeast Portland, a man named Joseph Washington, who sometimes cared for his 20-month-old son at his girlfriend's house, became overwhelmed when the toddler started vomiting heavily. And after being advised to seek medical help, Washington chose to take the child back to his mother instead.
Okay.
The mother then rushed the child to the hospital, where the doctors there discovered a perforation of the small intestine, which was caused by blunt force trauma.
Mm-hmm.
The injury was so severe the child likely would have died by the next morning without the urgent treatment. But during the investigation, Washington's girlfriend revealed that Washington had admitted to punching the toddler twice because he was upset. On August 28th of this year, Judge Christopher Ramross sentenced Washington to 10 years in prison after he was convicted of first-degree assault, third-degree assault, and first-degree criminal mistreatment. And so, thank goodness he got all of that. But he beat his child, took him home to his mama and for his mom to deal with, and essentially left him for dead.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. Yeah. Hey, Mom, it's your problem.
Yeah,
right?
Here, take him.
I can make the baby, but yeah.
I can make him and I can beat him, perforate his small intestine, but you take care of the big stuff.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it, family.
At least he got that sentence.
Yep. That's a good, well.
I know. It's a horrible, good story.
All right. This is another little short one for you. And, people have all kinds of pets.
Yeah.
Right? But what about a spider monkey?
No.
This thing right here?
Yeah. I've seen a guy on TikTok that has a spider monkey as a pet, and it's weird.
Yep. Kind of strange, I would think. Well, we're going to the great state of Tennessee and a town named Portland. And this dude has got a spider monkey. His name is Joseph McDormand, and he is 37 years old. It's reported by WBLT-TV. And he called the University of Tennessee Veterinary Hospital on Thursday, August the 7th. And he wanted an urgent appointment for his pet monkey.
Okay.
Well, it's like LSU veterinary schools, kind of famous and everything, right? So, they tell him, you know what? The clinic doesn't open until 7:30. He didn't like that.
Oh, it wasn't good enough.
No, it was not good. In fact, he told me, he said, and I quote, "If my monkey dies, I'm coming up there to blow the whole fucking building up.
Oh my gosh.
So he tells the operator, then they were like, you know what? Don't even
Go F yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Don't even bring your monkey to our hospital. You're not allowed here, right? But then, of course, they reported it to the cops, and the cops traced the call and found that, of course, McDormand was the person who made it and responsible for making the threat. And now he got cuffed and stuffed and is facing charges of harassment and making a threat of mass violence. Right? So this guy's evidently has several spider monkeys. He's got an account on YouTube with several videos of a man with his pet spider monkeys. And one video is titled "Baby Monkey." He showed off his trailer park home, so spider monkeys are legal to own as a pet in the state of Tennessee, while the ownership of apes and and chimpanzees and shit like that is
gorillas,
illegal, right? Gorillas, and who wants a gorilla in the house? Yeah, but hey, you know what? You can't see my monkey. I'm gonna blow your shit up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But don't come here, sir.
I'm sorry.
And by the way, motherfucker, we're sending the cops to your house.
Good for them.
Yeah. So you can't be saying that shit nowadays.
No.
Yo, what you got?
I have got a family matter.
All right. It's time for Family Matters.
We are going to Columbus, Georgia. I've never gone to Columbus, Georgia. On the evening of September 2nd of 2025, someone reported hearing like the sound like of a baby crying, but it was like the faint sound of a baby crying coming from the Budget Inn and Suites, coming from behind the Budget Inn and Suites in Columbus. And so officers immediately reported to the scene, of course, afraid of what they were going to find, and they searched the area and discovered a newborn infant inside of a dumpster. That happens way too much.
It's crazy.
So a little boy was immediately taken to Piedmont Columbus Regional Hospital, and he was stabilized and placed in the care of the Department of Family and Children's Services. A short time later, investigators identified Zinnia Hernandez, who is 22 years old, and she was a motel guest, and they identified her as the child's mother. And during questioning, Hernandez admitted she had given birth to the baby earlier that day in the motel room bathtub, and that she intentionally placed the newborn along with the placenta and the umbilical cord into a trash can. She sealed it inside a second bag before abandoning it in the dumpster, where the baby remained for approximately 5.5 to 6 hours.
Nice.
For that baby to survive in a plastic bag,
it was
double plastic bag.
Meant to survive. Huh?
Whew. Hernandez was arrested on September 4th and charged. I just can't imagine that. Charged with multiple offenses: criminal attempt to commit murder, child abandonment, first-degree cruelty to children, and reckless conduct. Her bond was set at $20,000, and of course, they say, reflecting the seriousness of the situation and the public's concern after the case gained widespread attention on social media. That bond isn't set. That's like $2,000 to get out of jail. I mean, I know everybody doesn't have $2,000 just to go and get out, but should it be $1 million or no bond? Authorities have taken the opportunity to remind the public about Georgia's safe haven law which allows parents to legally surrender newborns up to 30 days old. And they, of course, have the designated safe locations such as hospitals, police stations, or fire departments without fear of prosecution, and they can leave their child with the staff. And the infant is currently in foster care, receiving ongoing medical care and protections from DFCS to ensure safety and well-being.
Okay. This is a public service announcement for Woody Overton. Do not give your wife stories about babies in plastic bags in a dumpster and make her cry at 7:30 in the morning.
I got it together.
I didn't. I thought you were just taking a pause, and I looked up and you were crying. All right. So let's do another. It's time for Family Matters. You know, I know the U.S. Postal Service is on the downhill side of things, right? Because of emails and everything else. And I don't even know how much a stamp costs nowadays. But I remember when they were 10 cents.
Right.
Well, how much are they now?
I honestly don't know. I think they're like 57 cents.
Yeah. Well, you know, still it's kind of a prestigious job if you can get it. Federal employee, good benefits, decent pay, retirement, and all that stuff. But what do you think should be the one requirement for that job?
A good driving record, not being a pedophile, maybe be organized, can multitask.
All right. It's the United States Postal Service.
Okay.
I think you should have to be a U.S. citizen.
Oh, well, that would
drive for the United
so
States
obvious
Postal
it's not
Service.
worth saying.
All right. Well, we're going out to D.C., Washington, D.C. I'd love to go back there one day if they get the crime straight. So they got a former postal worker, and he's now been convicted of stealing checks worth more than $1.6 million from the mail in Washington, D.C. You know what he did with it? He did a lot of stuff with it, but one of the things he did with it,
Sent it home to his family?
yeah. He spent $100,000 of the money at strip clubs.
Yeah. Why not?
$100,000.
Why not?
I bet the strippers love to see that motherfucker come in the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's according to federal prosecutors. His name is Hashikala Sila Muchamba, who's 45 of D.C. He also blew a bunch of money on traveling or trips abroad. Yep. And booked stays at luxury hotels, right? All on stolen checks. Before they busted him, and they arrested him while he was trying to get out the country. And this is back in September 2023. Now, when they busted him, Machamba had $2,000 cash inside his luggage, and they got him at Dulles International Airport in Virginia before he was boarding a flight to Zambia in southern Africa. Now, because he went to trial, Machamba has been sentenced to 5 years and 6 months in prison on multiple charges, including bank fraud, mail fraud, and according to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia. They said on September 3rd in a news release. Now, in court filings ahead of sentencing, prosecutors wrote, Machamba was consistent, devious, and confident in executing his fraud scheme, which enabled him to get away with his theft again and again for years. I mean, fuck, they got their own postal police. They can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Think about all these poor motherfuckers waiting on checks.
Exactly.
Or little Susie's waiting on a card from grandma with a $20 bill in it or whatever.
Exactly.
You know? So of course, his defense attorneys didn't respond. This is in the Miami Herald, and they declined to comment. Now, Machamba is from Zambia, and he got his U.S. citizenship revoked after prosecutors said he became a naturalized citizen in May of 2022. So I guess he got away with it for a year, or maybe he was working as a postman before, He got a citizenship. Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
But they also got him for lying on his U.S. citizenship application by saying he has not committed any crimes. And Machamba became a U.S. citizen during this nearly 3-year scheme between December 20th and March 2023. So you can become a postman if you're not a citizen. And during this time when he was a letter carrier in Friendship Heights, which is a neighborhood in northwest D.C. So in that span of time, he stole U.S. Treasury checks and checks belonging to private parties from more than 30 mail routes.
That's crazy.
Machamba deposited checks, sometimes while wearing his U.S. postal uniform, into bank accounts he had under his control. And they got him on natural surveillance footage, captured him withdrawing money linked to the stolen checks from ATM machines. And, they got him as ass. 3 surveillance photos included in court documents show Machamba wearing USPS or United States Postal Service clothing while withdrawing the cash. Now, before his arrest at Dulles International, prosecutors met with Machamba and his lawyer and gave him the opportunity to accept a pre-indictment plea deal. Right?
Yeah.
And, Machamba said, fuck you, and made plans to haul ass to Zambia. In the government sentencing memo, prosecutors wrote that in order to facilitate his scheme, Machamba was able to persuade at least one other postal carrier, and probably more, to assist him in stealing U.S. mail. So they're all on the lookouts when the checks started running, right?
Yeah.
We just split them up. You see
yeah.
how many you can get, I see how many I can get. So the federal jury found Machamba guilty in March of conspiracy to commit theft of mail, bank fraud, theft of mail, bank fraud, engaging in a monetary transaction and property derived from specified unlawful activity, unlawful procurement of citizenship or naturalization. And in his defense, Machamba, however you say his name, his legal counsel wrote in a sentencing memo on his behalf that his criminal conduct was an isolated episode in an otherwise law-abiding life, not part of an entrenched pattern of criminality. Jeez. His attorneys explained that Machamba has extraordinary family circumstances and several relatives who depend on him emotionally and financially, including his parents who live in Zambia.
At the strip club.
And the strippers.
And the 5-star hotels.
They said, Mr. Machamba's life has been defined by his steadfast commitment to caring for his loved ones, often at personal sacrifice. This is not a case where incarceration would merely inconvenience family members. Rather, it would dismantle a vital support network and leave vulnerable relatives, both in the United States and abroad, without the guidance, emotional stability, and financial assistance they have long relied upon. I'm sure the judge is like, fuck yourself.
Yeah, literally.
Now, Machamba is required to pay $651,068.35 in restitution to the victims and forfeit his ill-gotten gains of $1,273,403.36. And his ass is going to be deported.
Well, what about the people that were cashing the checks for him? I mean, he has to show ID. You have to...
but I don't know. Well, I'm sure he had the fraud scheme. I can't walk up to the counter with Susie Joe's check and just cash it.
I know, so there has to be...
Probably endorsed it over to him, whatever. He's wearing who doesn't trust the fucking postman? Right?
So United Healthcare called on Friday and said, is Woody Overton, Mr. Woodrow Overton Jr. available? And I was like, no. And they're like, well, are you authorized to speak on his behalf for medical whatever? And I said, yes, I am, but I'm not going to. I said, you're going to take my word that I can speak on behalf. You're just going to give me all of his information just because I tell you so.
Right.
I said, I'm so sorry. I might have in the past had this conversation with you, but in the current date, I don't know what you're going to do. It's just like, I understand, ma'am. Like, just go to the back of the card and here's the phone number. You're going to find that on the back of the card and ask for this department. But I understand you don't want to talk about it. I'm thinking, who does? Like, I'm just going to tell you I could talk about it?
Yeah,
Like,
they want us to buy more insurance, huh?
I guess so. No, they wanted to schedule an appointment for you. But,
yeah,
like,
probably to sell more insurance.
I guess.
Fuck them.
Diagnose you with something else?
No, we're not gonna,
I mean, that's
we're
what
not
I'm
even gonna
saying.
put
But
that out
schedule an
there.
appointment. I don't know. But I was very frustrated by that.
Right.
This doesn't have a category.
Right.
We're going to Georgia, Gwinnett County, Georgia, and on an early July morning, officers received a 911 call around 6 a.m. And the call came from the parking lot of Cannon United Methodist Church, which is located on West Gin House Road. And they reported a baby had been found. So when police arrived, they discovered 28-year-old Oscar Alexis Cruz dead in the church parking lot. Investigators quickly determined the crime began hours earlier when an armed invasion of Cruz's home on Gin Blossom Circle happened between the hours of 1:30 and 3 a.m. The suspect was identified as 34-year-old Raymond Cooper, and he forced his way inside at gunpoint. And once inside, he kidnapped Cruz, restrained him with duct tape, and then drove him to the church. And then at the church, in the parking lot, Cooper executed Cruz, and he shot him approximately 17 times, according to the arrest warrants. The evidence showed that shot struck Cruz's head, arms, and torso. After the months-long investigation, Cooper was arrested in DeKalb County and faces multiple charges, included malice murder, felony murder, home invasion, kidnapping, armed robbery, aggravated assault, and more. And he remains held without bond at the Gwinnett County Jail. The motive for the crime hasn't been disclosed, and authorities are still investigating whether anyone else was involved. But Cruz is said to be being remembered by his loved ones as a devoted father, and he leaves behind a 4-year-old son. So there's a GoFundMe that describes him as one of the sweetest souls you could ever meet, and his family and friends are supporting each other in the grief.
Hate that for him. And, thinking of all these stories we do about stuff like that, they never say, this is not funny, just popped in my head. They never say,
shithead.
This guy was an asshole. He stole money out of the U.S. Post Office and went to strip clubs.
No.
Yeah.
I know.
But I guess you should talk about the dead anyway. So, but I'm going to talk about somebody who was dead. I'm going to Minnesota, and we don't do these kind of cases often. All right. So this guy in Minnesota, he just spent 27 years in prison, but let me tell you what he did. Okay. So in 1998, a jury convicted, this guy's name is Hooper, of premeditated murder, felony murder while committing burglary, and felony murder while committing kidnapping in connection with the death of 77-year-old Ann Prasniak. His conviction, they got the witnesses and stuff. The main witness was testimony from one woman, and police found, and some jailhouse snitches, right?
Mm-hmm.
So police found Prasniak's body in April 1998 in a cardboard box wrapped with Christmas lights in a closet in her Minneapolis apartment. Her ankles, nose, mouth, wrist, and head were bound, and her body was wrapped in garbage bags, blankets, and bedding. Her cause of death was ruled as asphyxiation, and she died 2 weeks to a month before police found her body.
God.
Right? Hooper received 3 life sentences with the possibility of release after 30 years. Now, this is where it gets interesting. In 2020, a judge granted his request to vacate 2 of the first-degree murder charges after he argued he was wrongfully convicted and sentenced for 3 counts of first-degree murder against the same person. And I don't know how the fuck they missed that.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand charging with everything that you can, but you only killed one person.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. But did you kill him 3 different ways?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's aggravated circumstances. Minnesota does not have the death penalty. That should have been. So now let me tell you Paul Harvey would say the rest of the story. All right. So Hooper, State District Court Judge Marta Chow has now vacated Brian Hooper Sr.'s first-degree murder conviction, and he was released Thursday morning from the Stillwater Correctional Facility, which is in the Great North. And this is according to the Great North Innocent Project. And it said, today the courts have affirmed what Brian Hooper, his family, his loved ones, and his advocates have always known. Mr. Hooper is an innocent man. This is according to the Hennepin County Attorney Mary Morty. It said, it is our duty as prosecutors to hold the correct individuals responsible for their actions, and that duty demands that we acknowledge our mistakes and make things right as quickly as we can. So I'll tell you what happened, but when they let him out of prison, Hooper reunited with his children and planned to enjoy a meal with them and spend time with family. And that's according to the Innocent Project. He also plans to make his home for now in the Twin Cities area where his children live. So what happened was that female that was the witness against him, guess what?
She'd be lying?
Not only did she lie, she confessed that she did the murder.
Oh.
No shit, right? And the other jailhouse informants that testified against him, who knows what the fuck they got. They recanted their testimony a long time ago. So that is actually a win for justice in a different way that Woody Overton likes. I don't like anyone being falsely in prison.
No.
And this dude spent 27 years. That's fucked up.
That is true.
So the woman who has confessed to the killing is in prison in Georgia for an assault-related crime and will be released in about 4 years. But I'm sure they're gonna hammer her ass. Yeah. So hopefully, you never give up, never surrender.
Yeah.
Even if you're going for justice, like in cold cases, or if you're truly innocent, don't give up. But this just goes to show that Miss Barbara Blunt's case and Bradley and AO's case can be solved. But people will talk sooner or later.
Sooner or later, they will. It's all, and I mean, it was not a religious show, but all done in dark comes to light. That's not really religious, but God's will and God's time is. But I believe that.
I'm glad he's out. I'm glad he's out.
I know. Me too. Wow.
It's time for Family Matters.
Got a Family Matters out of Muncie, Indiana.
There you go.
So on June 19th of 2019, 25-year-old DeMorica Turner was involved in a domestic incident. There was an argument, and he threw his girlfriend over his shoulder and into the path of an oncoming train. So witnesses on the train reported seeing him toss his girlfriend in front of a speeding locomotive. And upon investigation, prosecutors charged him with attempted murder, aggravated battery, and domestic battery by means of a deadly weapon. Turner initially resisted taking responsibility, and he told authorities that he had grabbed his girlfriend only to prevent her from standing on the other side of the tracks. And he insisted that he did not intend to hurt her. He was, in fact, saving her. However, video and witness testimony contradicted his version of events and pointed towards a deliberate attack. So this case goes to trial, and it took the jury about 30 minutes to reach their verdict. And so on July 30th of this year, Turner was found guilty on all counts. And he has just recently had his sentencing hearing, and he was sentenced to 36 years in Indiana Department of Corrections. I know.
36 years.
For attempted murder.
And yeah, it's like the dude with the postal worker.
Mm-hmm.
He only gets like 5 years.
I know.
But he's got to pay the money back, which he's never going to do because it went up when his strippers G-strings.
Do you get on a payment plan? Like, how do you?
Yeah, well, they're going to see 75% of your nickel an hour you're making for the 5 years. They ain't never getting that money back. But I don't know. 36 years just doesn't seem like quite long enough to me. But you know what? This one is crazy. It's time for Family Matters. And this is definitely another Family Matters, which is crazy. But that's a public service announcement again for me because I'm about to make Cyndi cry.
Oh, no.
All right. Going to Texas. Old Tejas. And this actually involves a cop, but not for the reasons that you might think, right? So they got a cop in Texas. He went on went on duty, gets off duty, and he goes home. And when he gets home, he didn't see his wife and their 9-year-old kid, but he heard noises. And so his name is, I don't even know how to pronounce this, Ehanire. Ehanire. And he's a police officer close to where he lived in China Grove, Texas. And he said he got home from the night shift and he went to the bathroom. And a bit later, he heard a scream come from the bedroom. And when he went to the bedroom, he tried to go in, but the door was locked.
Okay.
All right. So being a true cop, he kicked that bitch in and he went into the room and he found his wife, Medina, on top of their son, holding a knife. And she then stabbed herself and got into a struggle with her husband. She said, "This is what you want?" And that's what she told her husband during the tussle. And he drags her away and from the bedroom, and then he calls police, right? So let me go back to the beginning of it. And police have now charged Wilma Jamitza Medina, who's 50 years old, with capital murder in the case. You know why? Because the boy, David Hanira Medina, who she stabbed, their son, was taken to the hospital with stab wounds on both sides of his neck.
Holy mess.
And he died at the hospital. So the Universal City Police Detective David Fawcett said, "I don't think anything could have prepared our first responders of the city for what they saw." He said it was devastating. And back to it, it was around 5 a.m. Wednesday when police were dispatched to the home for a disturbance. And the child's father, who is Isosa in Henry, said his wife has stabbed his son, right? And when the cops got there, they found him grabbing Medina's leg as she lay on the bed with bloodstains on her shirt. And while they were trying to secure the residence, she gets up and went to the kitchen and grabs another knife and stabbed her own self in the leg. That's according to KSAT TV. So officers then trying to stop her from hurting herself. They're fighting with her, and they were eventually were able to take the knife away from her. And during this time, she said, "I cannot live without him, and let me die." It's crazy.
So why did she kill him?
I'll tell you in just a second. When she spoke to officers, Medina said or made comments about people trying to enter her home and claims she was being followed. So she was arrested and booked into the jail, and she's being held on $600,000 bond.
Now that's a bond.
50 years old and got a 9-year-old dead baby now.
Yeah.
That's not a fucking bond for capital murder. $600,000. She should have no bond.
She should.
I don't even have to
bond,
look at my chart up there and know Texas got the death penalty.
Well, 36,000 or whatever I said earlier, or 6,000 for whatever it was, that minimal bond for the baby in the dumpster. Like, I mean, that's not capital murder.
That baby's alive.
I don't care.
So
it was
no,
attempted
it's
murder.
not. It's not.
I know.
It's not capital murder. And his mama didn't stab him in the neck twice.
She just double bagged him in a garbage bag.
Okay, well, at least that baby's alive.
You're right.
It all sucks, and it is what it is, right? So I don't know. Let's do a little light one to end the show. I say light. I used to love to work dope, and you know that. Let's see if I can get this audio to play.
And see what agents found hidden in cigar boxes. Well, it was about 20 pounds of cocaine. This led to the arraignment this morning in Manhattan of 2 suspected smugglers. Detectives say the haul was seized from Jose Leonardo's home in Cypress Hills. The drugs said to be hidden in secret compartments inside the boxes. Leonardo and another man, Yankee Gil, are charged with criminal drug possession.
It's pretty ingenious when you see it, right? But I mean, they're legit wooden cigar boxes, and they had a layer of wrapped cigars on top, and the cocaine's underneath. It's the street value of what they got was $300,000, and they were broken down, hidden in 45 different cigar boxes, right? So naturally, the investigation was conducted by the DEA, the New York division, and with the assistance from the SNP's investigator unit. So during the investigation, the special narcotics prosecutor for the city of New York said that on April 16th, 2025, agents tracked Leonardo as he drove to 33 Crosby Avenue, the residence where the drugs were found. And later that days, the agents searched 33 Crosby Avenue and with a search warrant, and opened 3 cardboard boxes which contained the total of 45 wooden cigar boxes filled with cigars. But they pried off the tops of the prying off the wooden paneling on the underside of the boxes. The agents found thin bricks of cocaine, and similar bricks were also recovered from Leonardo's bedroom. The DEA laboratory analysis on the drugs seized, of course, identified it as 9 kilograms of cocaine. It's a lot. And nearly 1 kilogram of ketamine.
Oh.
Yeah, horse tranquilizer, right? They said large shipments of narcotics are often creatively concealed. In this case, cocaine was hidden underneath real cigars. Drug shipments such as this are typically transported to a location where they can be repackaged into smaller amounts and distributed to multiple locations. And considerable effort went into shielding the cocaine from detection and preventing the loss of profits that result from law enforcement seizures. The second defendant, Gil, was arrested a month early after a meeting with Leonardo at the residence. And agents say they stopped Gill and recovered a thin brick of cocaine that was similar in size and appearance to the bricks found in the cigar boxes in April. They said the seizure of this massive quantity of cocaine makes Brooklyn safer and delivers a heavy blow to drug trafficking networks that poison our streets.
It's true.
Good for them for getting it. They're always going to, they use that method, no long telling how long they use it, but just like on Sheriff Arden, I said on Miss Barbara Blunt's case and on AO's case and Bradley's case and all that, the bad guys got to get lucky every day.
Mm-hmm.
Cops only got to get lucky once.
That's right.
Right? And then this wasn't their day. So they ratted him out, and what they did, I can assure you, is where he told them, said, look, this is how we're doing it, and this is when our next shipment's coming in, etc. I don't know how his homie didn't know that he'd got arrested unless they arrested him and didn't say it, and they let him back out to follow him over there, and he's getting a sweetheart of a deal.
Yeah.
His other buddy will be canceling Christmas.
How do you feel about that?
About what?
I know CA's helped you a lot, but when CIs, what is the CA?
I have no idea.
Okay, CIs
certified asshole.
That too.
CI is a confidential informant.
Yeah, the informants. But I know that they help you, but when they're part of the crime and they get no time for it, like zero, and they literally have.
That's the deal you got to make with the devil. Because, most time you're stopping the user, or maybe somebody like that has like one large package of cocaine, and then you're like, okay, and I've done this 1,000 times. You can help yourself, rat it out, give up the big fish, and we can work together, right? And then if they agree to it, a lot of times you go ahead and book them in for whatever it is. Like he got booked in, and then they were sitting in a cell, and they were like, fuck that, I want help. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison. And then you can let them out, make them sign the paperwork, confidential paperwork that you can't break any laws and other than what we're working on, right? If we give you the dope to transport, or you go over to make a buy for us or whatever it may be, and you use them and use them and use them, and every time you give them marked money, it's like to go in and make the buy, and you search them before you give them the money, and you search them when they come out, make sure they don't have any dope that you don't know about on them, and then you keep working, and as you work it and you don't hit that house right then, you wait 3 or 4 days or however long until the next weekend or the next alleged ship date, and then you hit it so they don't know your CI is the one that ratted them out.
Yeah.
And then you get the bigger fish. You don't just get the user, you get the bigger fish.
Yeah.
How do I feel about it? Necessary evil.
Yeah.
How do I feel about people flipping the murder cases?
That's what
to get immunity.
That's more specifically with us.
Well, fuck it. And Sammy the Bull Regano killed 30-something people, but the government wanted the Teflon Don so bad they let him go on it. Yeah. So it is what it is. Their decision.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, at least somebody went to prison. Right?
I guess. It's just hard to know that they're not going to get any type of punishment for their actions.
Sometimes they get punishment. I mean, sometimes they get witness relocation program, or they get 5 years in a secure facility and then they get released or whatever. It varies every case. You don't ever know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So that's that, and that's what I have for today. You got anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Then I hope everybody's enjoying the weather. Football season started for real, the NFL, and it was pretty good games. The NFL and the college, you always got all the mistakes of the first week, just over and over and over again. This is stupid shit. But the NFL, they play a lot of preseason games, and so I'm not saying you don't have more mistakes than you do later in the year, but most of the games were pretty clean and pretty interesting. So dove season started. We had a good time on our hunt this weekend. My shoulder was raw when we shot.
Really?
I don't think I've ever shot that much.
Yeah.
But it's cooling off.
Yes, I want to thank Kimmy and Tim for
Yes.
their support and guidance in LA's first triathlon.
Yep. That was awesome in Lafayette this weekend. And then Jason Swowski and them were supposed to be coming in for the LSU's SLU game. And Jason, I ain't got to tell you, but we're not going to make it. And Rock and Snow are no longer in the guests in the studio today. They went to their own home, and WL is upstairs doing school.
It's true.
All right. So we love and appreciate all y'all. Please continue to call in your tips, 313-RLRC-TIP. Boy, we're going to do it. And of course, with no response. If you listen to last week's episode, I had our attorney, Thomas Davenport, who's just the best, send a public information request for all, not just related to these two cases, every confidentiality agreement they may have ever done. Of course, we have gotten as a response, but I can promise you, Tommy's not going to let it go. It's going to end up in a courtroom.
There's no time frame, like when you have that you have to disclose when you do a public information.
There's not a set thing, but they have to give you reasons and stuff like that. And they haven't done anything, but we'll take them to court. Take them to court. Not afraid. Tommy Davenport certainly isn't afraid. If y'all need an attorney for whatever reason, he's also a professor of law.
Yeah.
And a super great guy. But all right. So just stay tuned to that. Keep calling in your tips. It's coming down the pipe, I can promise you. And I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cyndi Overton.
Host of True Crime Time for this Tuesday, September the 9th. I'll holler at you later. Peace.